Hello friends, and welcome to week 4 of NaNoWriMo. Today is our second last check-in before November wraps up, and oh my gosh, has it gone by fast. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for subscribing during NaNoWriMo season, and if you've been around for a while, well, thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it so much. In today's video, we are going to do the usual format. I am going to do my check-in, read you an excerpt, and then show you some vlogging about my week. As always, if you don't want to watch the vlog, I won't be hurt. Feel free to skip to the end, but do watch that last little bit of the video to find out about my plans for sprinting during the final week of NaNoWriMo. Alright, so my boring check-in. I'm getting along well, hitting my goal every day, and at the end of my sprints today, as I film this on Saturday, I have done my preliminary edits for this draft of Synterra up to page 160. My recorded word count on the Nano site is 41,675, but for me that means I have edited at least 3.5 pages per day. Usually it is more though. I am officially now back in Montreal, so when you see my vlog, there's some travel footage and stuff like that. It was really nice to be able to spend such a long time in Winnipeg to see friends and family, but by the end I truly was missing Montreal. I've never actually been away long enough to really feel that, other than just being aware of how different it is in Winnipeg and not enjoying that much. I mean, there's a reason why I left. But I can say now that Montreal very much feels like home to me now more than ever, even though it's not going to be my forever home. Anyhow, excerpt time? Excerpt time. Today's is from chapter 16, which is titled Blades and Sparks. It's been difficult to find chapters that I can read from at this point, which are not going to have spoilers, but I am doing my best here. So, in this one, 2 of our main characters are starting to be trained for battle. Battle scenes and anything like that have really scared me going into writing them, but I am doing my best to learn more when writing them to write them properly, and hopefully I will be successful. Alright. At last, they reached a tall wooden gate, one of the few practical-looking structures in the city. The gate was attached to an equally imposing fence that surrounded the training fields. Unlike the historian's den, this entrance required no key. Daisy gave it a strong shove and it swung open, revealing a large green space. Much as you'd expect, there were training dummies and targets set up with various types of weaponry displayed on racks along a bordering wall. The field was lengthy and provided plenty of space for multiple people to train at one time. Jacob suspected it had been built with their entire military force in mind. And now you'll begin to learn how to hold your own in battle. Daisy held her arms out exuberantly, presenting to them the field. How does that work with the rift energy Winter told us about? Shouldn't we just be able to use that or something? Jacob questioned, feeling like he'd said something immensely stupid the moment the words exited his mouth. I can't say I know how any of that works, but everyone here knows how to wield a sword to some degree, and so should you. Glancing over to read Althea's face, Jacob waited for her to express negativity at last, assuming that she would much prefer a good book and some magic over real weapons training. Rift energy or not, I'm looking forward to it, Althea exclaimed. Alright, so maybe he'd been wrong. Expelling a sigh, he walked with the 2 women towards the barracks while Daisy continued talking. Becoming a master of weaponry takes many years, but today you'll choose a discipline and get a start. Even if you spend your time in a throne room, when this is all done, you can't be entirely unable to protect yourself if it becomes necessary, and in many cases, good rulers prefer to go to war with their subjects. Everyone felt sobered by the thought. We've requested that you each be matched with one of our best weapons mistresses. They are quite proficient in any discipline you may choose. Meeting us on the fields today are Jessica and Alyssa. The 2 women came into view as they walked up to the yard of the barracks. Each stood by a weapons rack, polishing and chattering away. They were dressed in cloth and leather armor, not battle-ready but prepared for training. When they noticed Daisy and her charges, they fell silent and gave curt bows. 1 human and 1 fae, the human woman had black hair cropped short. Her face was hardy and stern, but the lines at the edges of her eyes and the tilt of the corners of her lips showed that she wasn't opposed to laughter. The Fey woman's hair was red, long, and tied back with braids. Her features were soft and pretty, unexpected for her vocation. Jessica walked purposefully over to Jacob while Alyssa set her sights on Althea. While they shook hands with their trainers, Daisy gave a nod in their direction. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'll be back at sunset. Jessica was sizing Jacob up. Looks like you'd do best with a sword, in my opinion. Rapier, maybe. Do you have a preference? I'd never given it any thought. They walked over to the table, leaving Althea and Alyssa behind. Alyssa was more reserved as compared to her companion as she spoke softly to Althea. Your mother favored daggers. We Fae have magics which I can teach you, and in time you'll learn to harness the energy of the rift. But weaponry can be brilliant for channeling it. Shall I teach you daggers? If that's what my mother favored, I would love to honor her in that way, yes. Excitement bubbled in Althea's stomach. Magic. She would be channeling magic. So, their first day of weapons training began in earnest. Walking at Jessica's side, Jacob turned many thoughts over in his mind, and by the time the rapier was placed in his hand, he had become driven by the belief that he would need weapons training above all else in this world where he could trust so few. Through the day, he worked harder than Althea, breaking a sweat early on. Jessica was visibly proud of his efforts. They ate their afternoon meal in half the time allotted and moved far beyond her original lesson plan. If you ever have to fight for your life, allez! He performed an advance lunge at her, and she jumped out of the way as they began another match. You will be well prepared to give it your all. Beat parry. Jacob successfully deflected the incoming attack. You are far off from perfection, but you have drive. On guard! She leapt at him, and their foils clashed. A sharp cry echoed across the field, and Jacob paused to look over at Althea. A spark of some sort had gone off, and she was shaking her hand like it had been burned. Breathe, take it easy. Alyssa picked up the dagger which had fallen to the ground. When you're working with metal and electricity, the trick is to keep the electricity flowing through the metal, within it, not dancing along its surface where it can fight back at you. Well, that's obvious, Althea responded, frustrated. It may seem obvious, but you have to really think about it, all the time. How am I supposed to fight if I'm thinking about not electrocuting myself the whole time? Well, that's the point of practice, Alyssa smiled, remaining calm. In time, it will be second nature. Your brain will manage the magic all on its own. Here, try the saber grip we talked about. Concentrate on the point of your thumb. Picture the electricity as if it's coming from there and coursing directly into the blade, out and away from you. Althea took a deep breath and tried again. So, like I said, at this point, I'm really just looking for stuff that isn't too spoilery, as that gets less and less likely as editing goes on. But I'm also hoping to show you some variety in regards to my excerpt, so I know this one was a bit longer, but hopefully it was a good one. Now let's have a little vlog break before I let you know what's going to be going on here for the final week of November. We begin our vlog with my final footage from Winnipeg. This is the amazing Gargoyle Theatre owned by my friend Andrew Davidson, who, if you look up his novel, The Gargoyle, I highly recommend it. Incredible read. He has not published another novel, but I am anxiously awaiting the day that he does because he is incredibly talented, and if you get a chance to visit this theater, definitely do it. Then we are moving on to my pretty much goodbye dinner. We just were trying to figure out a time when everyone could get together, and it wound up being near the end of my trip. So this is my mom's side of the family, and we just had a big sort of, those of us in my aunt's place put together most of the meal, but we had some contributions, and it was just like awesome food, family, very good time. And one of my friends brought over his beautiful dog. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not a big dog person. I am cats, certified cat lady, but this dog, not that I dislike dogs. I'm a vegan, right? I mean, I love all animals, but I am more of a cat person. But this dog, this is a cat in my books. And my final night, I got to do early Christmas with my dad and my friend Chandra / his wife. And it was just really lovely. I know this looks a bit early for the festivities, but I haven't done the whole Christmas thing with my dad in, almost a decade now, I think, which is crazy it's just nuts. But he wanted to do this because he and Chandra both got sick, so I didn't get to see them as much after the beginning of the trip. So we're like, yeah, let's do early Christmas. Why not? And we had an amazing onion tarte tatin made by Chandra. Thank you. And I will be getting that recipe. Then it was on the way to Toronto. I had an extremely early flight,
and I was there at like 8:30 a.m. just in time to clock in for work. I think I mentioned this last time that I had a bit of an odyssey to get back to Montreal. So I did an early flight, had to be at the airport at like 3 in the morning, fly out at 5, arrive at 8:30, get to Union Station. I had 3 hours to get there, and that turned out to be pretty good timing, and here I am arriving back in Montreal. So it was a plane, and then a train, and then an automobile, if anyone knows that reference, into the cab, and you know you're back in Montreal when you see the Farine Five Roses, the flower company. It's kind of iconic. Here is our central station, and then I got back and saw the rat friends. Here is Sylvia, and here is Baudelaire. They definitely remembered me. Rats are extremely intelligent, and I missed them, and we went to a weird thrift shop before dinner and discovered that. And this one I was just wondering, who gives this away? Like, I don't like it, but who gives that away? This is one of the best pizza restaurants in Montreal. It's called Fugazi, I think it's pronounced, and they have an incredible vegan, salami-based one that is called the Lady Gaga, and I just love their aesthetic. It is so very cool. Here I am at my storage unit that I needed to hit up to sort of update my clothing and stuff like that, and I just had to show everyone how terrifying this little element of it is. On my way back, I discovered a ice rink. I don't know why I didn't know about it before, but it's super cool and right indoors downtown. And here we just have some beautiful like moon city sights and the interesting yoga studio that I went to. This was through something called Class App, not sponsored, I wish, but check my link out below and it's just amazing. I'll say more about it in the description down below. Just check it out. And that's the vlog.
And that's that. I am now back in Frenchland, safe and sound, and planning out my next travels. While I will be in California for just over a week in mid-December, it looks like things will be really starting in earnest at the end of January. See, I tried really hard to set up an optometrist, doctor, and dentist appointment before heading out, but those were not easy to set up, so I've got to stay in town a bit longer to fit them in. But it'll be nice to travel with hopefully a clean bill of health. And when inevitably I do need fillings, I can schedule those and have them to look forward to when I'm back in Montreal. With that, what's happening for the last week of November? Well, if you're local, there are a number of events going on that you should definitely check out. They're listed on the events page of our local page on NaNoWriMo.org. Lots of in-person write-ins. And of course, our rap event is at Thesaurus on the 1st, and I'm really looking forward to going because I was not able to make the Midway event, so it'll be great to see everyone. This Tuesday, I will be running sprints on Discord. If you haven't joined yet, hop on. It's a year-round writing support community and so much more as it's run by my small press, the Stygian Society, so it's going to help you through November and beyond. Finally, I will be doing one more NaNoWriMo sprint on the 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern. For that one, I'm just going to hang around as long as feels right. That one's going to be here on YouTube. So it could be the usual 2 hours or it might go later. And I will likely hop on Discord after that to cheer everyone on there as well. And that's all you need to know for now. In my final check-in video, I'll be sure to let you know what plans are looking like for this channel heading into the new year with my regular videos and also with lives, as I would like to keep those up. See you for sprints, for next week's video, and please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you actually get notified when I post a new video or go live. And last but not least, I hope that you are having a day that is just as wonderful as you are. Bye.